Hi everyone, how are you today? My name is Sashka and welcome to my crooked little house. So today is Monday, November 24th, and I apologize for not recording earlier. Last week and it was my turn to work again, and it was very busy, very busy. This weekend we went on a little trip to our biggest large town, which is about 3 hours away, and we did some Christmas shopping and had a night on the town, if you could call it that. What we actually ended up doing was sitting in our hotel room streaming Netflix because there was nothing on TV except for this really bad movie. Well, it wasn't on TV, we actually paid for it, which I'm embarrassed to say. It was critically acclaimed and something like 96% of all the people who watched it liked it. It was bad. I can't even remember the name of it, that's how bad it was. And there were like cameos. Oh, my husband is mouthing something at me. It was the Grand Budapest Hotel. So if you watched it and you really liked it, then sorry, but it was just dumb. It was dumb. It was quirky and artsy, but it wasn't like quirky and artsy enough for me. Anyway, it was bad. Anyway, and so that's what I've been up to. Other than that, it's winter here. Last weekend, or this week when I came out from work, we had a couple of days of freezing rainstorms, so the roads were really bad, and some warnings, and now it's warmed up a little bit, so we have lots of snow, and winter's here. I dragged out my snow boots. I bought a winter coat. I guess I'm going to have to wear the hat I made. I'm not a winter fan. I don't like it. I do winter activities because you kind of have to if you live here. So I do go snowshoeing, which I do like, but anyway, I'm not a fan of winter, and I think I would like it more if it was shorter. Like if it was about 5 months shorter and it wasn't 7 months long, I think I would like it a lot better. But enough whining about that. So I'd like to talk a few minutes about the gift along that's going along on Ravelry. I'm one of the 293 participating designers, and it is so much fun. I've been lurking and sometimes participating in some of the threads, and everyone is having so much fun. So many people are participating, and there's already something like, I don't know, 70 finished objects, and it's only been going on since the 13th of November. There are, like I said, there are 293 designers. There are thousands and thousands of prizes. There are mostly digital patterns from the designers, and there are lots and lots of physical prizes as well. So there's an actual group, and I'll link to it in the show notes for the gift along. And this was all put together by volunteer designers, and I am so amazed because it is probably a full-time job. Really, like the designers who volunteered to put it together, they worked on the gift along last year, and there's probably another 100 designers on top of the designers who participated last year. So it's huge, and then there's even more people who are knitting and crocheting who are joining in this year. And the thread, so there's a different thread for each category. So there's like hats and head things, and cowls and scarves and neck things, and feet and foot things, and children's things and toys and shawls and sweaters. And then there's a general chatting one. And I mean, like, if you go away for an hour, you are like pages behind. And I have found so many great patterns just by reading in the threads. And I've featured some of the patterns that I've found and I really liked, and I can't feature them all, but I featured some of them on my blog, and I'll talk about those in a few minutes. And I'll talk about what I look for when I'm knitting somebody else's pattern, because I look for something different than what probably a non-designer looks for. And we're all featuring other designers in our blogs, so I have discovered so many designers and new to me designers, and I'm having so much fun, and I feel a little bit like I'm on vacation from designing, and it's actually I don't know, it's almost like a relief. It's almost like a break, like a vacation, I guess is what the best way to say it, like I said. So I was actually interviewed by Christina Loma, who is Red Raveler on Ravelry. So she sent me some questions and I answered them. And I'll link to my interview on her blog, which is feelgoodknitting.wordpress.com. Like I said, I'll link to it in the show notes. And that was a lot of fun because it made me think about, it made me think about things and answer them, and I felt like a real designer because I was being interviewed. And I interviewed Claire Devine, who is, you're going to have to look this up because it's Knits for Clips Cap with 2 A's on Ravelry, and I will probably be posting that on Tuesday or Wednesday on my blog, and I'll put my blog link in the show notes, but it is SashkaKnits.com, so that's SASHKA knits.com. And so on my blog I have the links to my podcast, as well as I do some blogging as well. So over the last week and a half I have featured 3 patterns on my blog that are some of the thousands of patterns available to knit in the gift along. So one of them is Artist Loop, which is a pattern, it's a cowl, and I'll link pictures, but it's a bulky cowl, and it got like 15 rows or something, by Faye Kennington, who is Yuki Knits. And another one I featured is called the Gaugeless Lady Cardigan, which is a top-down cardigan, so top-down gaugeless cardigan, so you just go by your numbers. And that's designed by Elizabeth Felgate, who is Liz Jack, hi Betty, on Ravelry. And what I really like about this one is that I really like the way that the increases go in the back, so they all meet in the back of the neck. So I think it's really neat, and the sleeves are really deep, so it's just like a really comfortable, roomy, swingy cardigan. And another one, which you'll actually meet because I'm knitting it, is, I'm going to knit the other ones too, by the way, is the Montague Street Cowl by Nina Macklin-Dayton, who is Nina Knits on Ravelry. And this is a modular garter stitch cowl. And I've never knit a modular anything before, and I'm really enjoying it. This is knitting up really quickly. And so I featured all of those, and I talk a little bit about them on my blog. So feel free, please go and read my posts, because I have a little bit there about why I like them. So why do I knit other people's designs, and why do I choose the patterns that I choose? Well, sometimes it seems really silly because I'll choose a really simple pattern, and it's like a basic top-down raglan, which all I have to do is knit a gauge swatch and do the math. And sometimes I don't actually feel like doing the math. Sometimes it's kind of nice that someone else has done all the math and all I have to do is knit it. And sometimes I'll knit a pattern that is being featured in a knit along. And so you want to join in the knit along, so you knit the pattern that everyone else is knitting. And sometimes I'll want to knit a pattern by a particular designer because I know them from Ravelry, I've seen them on the boards, and I just want to try out one of their patterns. But usually I see something that's out of the ordinary, so it's a little bit different. It has a feature, or something strikes me. So if it's something pretty normal and maybe the design feature is just color work or a pattern or a stitch pattern or something like that, then although I might find it really appealing and I might buy it just because I like to read patterns, like a lot of people like to read cookbooks, and a lot of designers buy patterns for that reason. If I'm going to knit it, it's going to have to hold my interest. So I will be looking for something that just has a little bit of that extra something different in it. So when I knit other people's patterns, that's what I'm looking for. I might want to try something different. So like when I'm knitting my socks, what I'm challenging myself with right now is, although I may be knitting just a plain vanilla sock, I'm trying to do something different, like try a different heel or a different toe or a different cast on with every pair. So it's good to challenge, I find it's good to challenge myself and learn something from every pattern that I do. So that's why I knit other people's designs. Plus, I always need to be learning and doing something different. And if I'm only knitting my own designs, then I'm not learning anything because I'm not doing anything different. I've only gone as far as what I know right now. So if I don't keep on learning, then I'm not going to design any further than where I am right now. And I'd like to push myself. So it's hard to do that if I'm not pushing myself by challenging myself with more and more challenging patterns that other designers are making. So that's why I knit other people's designs. So I'm kind of doing this backwards because I wrote my show notes out funny, but works in progress. So I am knitting a cardigan for my granddaughter. So I am knitting this is called Cascade by Rhea Budrovich. I don't think you can see that very well. I'll link it in the show notes. So this was published in Petite Pearls in winter 2010. It's a free pattern, and oops, I'm almost finished. I'm on the last sleeve. So this pattern, what I love about it is knit right into the pattern. Along the top edge are these really pretty leaves, and in the leaves the buttonholes are formed right into the leaves. So it's top down, then you separate for the sleeves, put the sleeves on holders, and then keep knitting to the bottom. Then you pick up around the neck and the other front band, and then you're done. So really quick. I'm making the largest size, which is a size 6 for my granddaughter, who is 3.5, because I'm not using the recommended yarn. So what I'm using is sock yarn, held double. So this is Comfort Sock and Wool color, which is 75% wool, 25% nylon. So I'm using it held double, I'm using one strand from the inside and one strand from the outside. I'm not worrying at all about lining up anything, and it's coming out really kind of tweedy looking, really pretty. It's sort of got shots of burgundy and gray and pink mixed in with the purple. And of course, because it's sock yarn, it's going to be washable. And I am knitting this on size US 7s, 4.5 millimeter. I've got it on DPNs for the sleeve, but I used my Hias for the body, just because it's knit all in one piece. So it knit up very, very quickly. The pattern said it uses 800 meters for the size, and I've just now finished the second skein, so I've used only 400 meters if you double it and half it, if that makes sense. So I've used only 400 meters, and so I'm going to go into the third skein, and I won't use all of this skein, so I may make her a matching hat or socks, depending how much is left over from this. So I think that it's really mushy because sock yarn held double knits up really nice. So I've done a couple things like that now. So I'm really enjoying this, and it'll be finished this week. So that's one. And the next one I'm actually making is the Montague Street Cowl by Nina Macklin Dayton. And this photo is in black and white, so it's really hard to see. So please click on the link because it's beautiful. When Nina released this pattern last year, I was really taken with it. Actually, she released a whole bunch of cowl patterns all like 1 week apart, and I loved them all. There was one, it was cables, and it had buttons in between the cables, and I will probably get that one too. I forget what it was called though. So I'm also knitting this one out of sock yarn, held double. I am using the same yarn, the Comfort Sock on the Wall. It's like exact, because I had 4 balls, so I'm using one, which is the purple because I wanted a solid. And I'm using this is Milan White, Lana Grossa Milan White Champion 2. And it's like all clown colors, kind of looks like. And I'm holding it double. And it, to me, this looks like a Mexican fiesta of color, because I just want some color in the winter time, and this is so much fun. I just started this on Sunday. No, sorry, I lied. I'm a liar. I started this on Saturday, and I've got 3 of 5 squares done. And each one, like I did some car knitting when we went to Prince George. So they don't take very long to do. And it's very simple, modular knitting. And I've just, like I said, started square 4. So I'll be able to finish this one pretty quickly as well. I'm knitting these on US 8 5 millimeter needles. But you need long ones because you're picking up stitches and casting on. I'm really enjoying this technique. So it's a very well written pattern, and it's written out and it has charts, and I'm actually finding it easier. I'm a chart person, but I'm actually finding it easier to use the written instructions. So in this case, the written instructions are working out really well for me. So please go click on the link because it's a really neat pattern. And one more work in progress. I haven't worked on the green Malabrigo design for a couple of weeks, so I won't show you it again until I get some significant work done on it. But I've dragged out a work in progress that I've had on the needles since April. So it's actually a half finished object. So it's a pair of socks. So here's sock 1. These are for my daughter. I started these when I was visiting her in Red Deer in the spring. So this pattern is called Dither by General Hog Buffer. I'm using my own hand-dyed yarn. So this is fingering weight Cuddle Toes yarn. And the second sock, I am getting pretty close to the heel turn on the second sock. So this is also a free pattern. General Hog Buffer is also known as Brain Dead on Ravelry, and I'll show you the pattern up close here. So his patterns are free. They're very well written. Here's the, so you don't get the glare. There you go. They're very well written. I've knit another one of his patterns. This is a color work pattern. Some of his are like slip stitches and cables, and they're all very, very interesting to knit, and they're explained in great detail. So most of them are knit for several different sizes, and so I would say if you want a bit of a challenge, then I would definitely try one of his patterns. So I'd like to get this finished and off of my work in progress bin, so I can cast on something else. Other finished objects. Oh, I do have some other finished. I finished the socks that I showed you last time. So 1 pair, 2 socks. So these are made out of opal. Hunter, this is how much I have left. Quite a bit. Hunter Twosser's work. Conservation Week. I knit 1 pair from the inside of the ball, or 1 sock from the inside of the ball, and 1 sock from the outside of the ball, so they're fraternal, although they look really close. The stripes sort of landed in almost the same spot. They're really, really comfortable. This yarn is really, really nice. They're going to wear well. For this sock, I used the Oh My God heel by Megan. Sorry, Megan. I will get your last name into the show notes. I like it. I'm going to try. I think there's also the spacious Oh My God heel, which I think I'm going to try, maybe on a pair for my husband. But what I like about it is this does not disrupt the color pattern. So really like them a lot, and they're very comfortable, so I'm going to enjoy wearing those a lot. And one more finished object. So you've not seen this in any format because I've started it and finished it. As you can see, it's on the needle, and I'll tell you why. This is how much yarn I have left. This much. So this is just a bias garter scarf. I did not use a pattern, but I will tell you in the show notes how I did it in case anyone wants to make one of their own. It's just 2 rows. So basically what you do is you cast on, I casted on 45 stitches, and I knit 2 rows. Then on the right side row, and you should mark what your right side row is, because until you get the angle, it's going to be hard to tell. So on the right side row, what I did is I knit 1, then I did a slip slip knit, then I knit to 2 stitches to the end, I did a knit front and back, and then I knit the last stitch. Then the wrong side row I just knit. And I did that all the way Isn't that beautiful? Like just that long variegation. Until I had about a yard of yarn left. So this is for my mom. Hopefully, if she's watching, she will just say, "Oh, what a surprise!" when she opens it for Christmas. So I used some Estelle Sock It To Me Bold sock yarn. This is a single. Even though it does have some nylon in it, I would not use it for socks because it is a single. And it made a beautiful, beautiful scarf. And my mom, the last time I was there, hinted at me quite a few times that she had lost her scarf. So I don't know if she was hinting at me to make her one or buy her one, but I decided to make her one. And blue is her favorite color. She looks really nice in blue, and this will look nice with her coat. So the reason that I have left it on the needle is because I'm going to use my favorite bind off, and I'm going to do a tutorial and post it on my blog. So my favorite stretchy bind off is the sewn bind off. I really like the way it looks. It's tidy. It's got enough stretch in it, like quite a bit of stretch in it. And it's quite simple to do. It's very methodical. It does take a bit longer to do than your other bind offs, but I really like the way it looks. I use it when I'm doing toe-up socks. I use it for lace shawls. I've used other stretchy bind offs, and I find in general that they are really sloppy looking, and so every time I do one I go, oh, I should have done a tutorial. So I thought this is perfect because there's not very many stitches, and so it's like a little sample just waiting. So hopefully, I don't know if I'll have time to do it this week or next week is looking more likely, but I will post it on my blog. It'll be a video, and I will explain it. It's very simple to do, and it makes a really nice edge, and I'll show you some samples of other things that I've done and use that edge, and you'll see why I like it so much. So it's not hard to do at all. So that's it for my finished projects. So I think that's it. Yes. So on to books. I have finished listening to the last of the Alan Bradley Flavia Duluth series, and it actually ended up to have a bit more substance. It wasn't quite as fluffy. It was fluffy, but it wasn't quite as fluffy as I thought it was. I'm really going to miss, I really miss her, and I'm looking forward to the next one when it comes out sometime this year. But it was nice to sort of be free to listen to some other books. I listened to a Finnish book that was translated into English. It was called The Healer by Antti Tuomainen. Sorry about the pronunciation. So it's a crime novel. This will appeal to crime people and post-apocalyptic people as well. So it's about a Finnish writer, whose wife was abducted by a murderer called the Healer. And so he is searching for his wife in post-apocalyptic Helsinki. And what was really interesting is it wasn't so over the top that it was unbelievable. It was actually quite believable. It wasn't one of those like zombie kind of things. So it was quite well written. I really enjoyed it. So again, I'll put a link to that one if you enjoy those kinds of books. And right now I am listening to a Swedish mystery, of course, that's been translated into English. and it is called Misterioso by Arnie Dahl. And Arnie Dahl is actually a pseudonym. His real name is Jan Arnold. But anyway, this is the first book in a series about a special team called the A-Team. And no, it's not the A-Team, it's a different A-Team in the Swedish National Police. And it's this one, some high-ranking businessmen are being killed. And I've just started it. I'm about 1/3 of the way into it, and I'm quite enjoying it. So link to that one. Let's see. So I've read also some books. I've read 2 of the Bruno Chief of Police books. So these are written by Martin Walker. So Martin Walker is a journalist and author, and these books are set in France. And if you like eating, anyway, these books, you get really hungry because they describe food in great detail, but there are some mysteries involved. They're a bit light. So I've read 2 of those. I've read Bruno, Chief of Police, which is the first one. I've read The Dark Vineyard, and now I'm reading The Black Diamond. So there's a whole bunch of them. I think there's 6 or 7 of them, and I quite enjoyed those. And so just for something a bit heavier, and because it's one of my favorite authors, I read The Fire Witness, which was quite a lot darker, by Lars Kepler, which is Swedish. Lars Kepler is actually a pseudonym for a husband and wife team, Alexander and Alexandra Anderil, so they're Swedish. And this is the 3rd book in a series about Juna, I think I'm saying that wrong, Lina. It's really interesting. And what attracts me to reading books that are translated in from other languages is I'm really learning a lot about other countries and their histories and their cultures, because even other first world countries have a lot different cultures than we do, and there's whole governments and hierarchies are different than ours here in North America. And I find it very interesting, and of course I really would like to visit Sweden now, because it's one of the countries that I read a lot of books from, but also a lot of the other Scandinavian countries. So I think if you really want to learn about other countries, it's a good way of doing that. So a lot of the family dynamics are a little bit different. A lot of the social norms are a little bit different. I mean, they're not way different, but they are a little bit different than ours. And I'm really enjoying learning those things. So that's why I read a lot of those kinds of books as well. So that's it for books. I do hope that you enjoy hearing about the books that I'm reading, because I like sharing them. I do have a group of friends that we share sort of new books that we found and authors and things like that. So I hope that you do enjoy hearing about them, because I'm just going to keep yakking about them anyway. So I do have 2 new yarns to share. So when we were in Prince George, I went to one of my favorite yarn shops. They're all my favorites. I'm sorry, but this is a lovely yarn shop. It's called Top Drawer, and it's in Prince George. It's on top of one of my favorite bookstores, which also has like a little bistro cafe in it, and it smells good. It has books, and then there's a yarn store. Like, there's nothing bad about this. It's lovely. So I went in there looking for one kind of yarn, which I didn't buy, but I did buy something else. I have no idea when I'm going to knit it, but anyway, I found this Debbie Bliss Fine Donegal, which is merino wool and cashmere. These are 100 grams, and there's 415 yards, or 380 meters. So this is like a fingering, a little bit heavier than a fingering weight. No. So I got 3 colors. I got 3 balls of this, and one each of the medium blue and the dark blue. So I'm probably going to make some kind of stripy loose pullover, because I love working with the finer gauged yarns. It's got 95% merino and 5% cashmere. It is like totally soft. There's no itchiness in here. It's really, really nice. I have the perfect design for this in my head. So I was really excited to find this. So it's really beautiful. So that was my big purchase of the weekend. And then I somehow got it in my head that I'm going to make a whole bunch of spa cloths and scrubbies and things for Christmas presents. So I bought some cotton. So I got this at Walmart, Bernat Handicrafter. I have never made any of these before. I don't know if this is the best or the worst cotton for this. I don't know. But anyway, I thought I'd make 2 sets I'd make in 2 colorways for different people. So I got one big ball of this, and I got a couple each of these. So I got the blue and the multicolor blue with the turquoise, and then I got this apple green and the apple green and the white and the turquoise. And I'm going to make leaves, shaped washcloths and little scrubbies. I say I'm going to. I don't know if I'm going to, but anyway, this is the plan right now. I don't even know who I would give them to. I just want them for me. So I might just make them for me. I originally was going to buy like 2 of these and make washcloths. And then it morphed into this. And I have like 12 more of these over there on the table. So it's November 24th. What are the chances? I don't know. But anyway, if I get them done, I will show you. So please come and visit me on Ravelry. Please come and join my group. It's called My Crooked Little House. And please come and check out my blog, SashkaKnits.com, and I will talk to you next week. Thanks. Bye.